The phone rang at 1:07 a.m. I was half asleep, my glasses still on, paperwork spread across the kitchen table like always. I almost ignored it. Then I heard her voice. "Dad, please open the door. It's cold outside." My heart stopped. Not skipped a beat, stopped. Because my daughter Lily had died 4 years ago. Car accident. Rain. Twisted metal. A doctor who wouldn't meet my eyes. I'd identified her body myself. I'd buried her. I'd stood in the rain and promised I'd never forget her voice. And now it was on the phone. Exactly the same. Small. Shaking. Afraid. My hands started to tremble. "Lily?" I whispered. There was a pause. Then a soft sob. "Dad. I'm at the gate. Please. I don't want to be alone." The line went dead. I ran. Barefoot. No coat. I didn't even turn on the lights. I threw open the front door and the cold air slammed into my chest. Frost clung to the grass. The street was empty. Then I saw her. Standing by the iron gate. Same height. Same hair pulled into a messy ponytail. Same blue jacket she wore the day she died. She looked thinner. Paler. Her eyes met mine. "Dad?" she whispered again. "Help me." Every instinct screamed run. Every part of me that had been a father screamed louder. I took one step forward. And that's when I noticed something that made my blood turn to ice. She had no shadow. I stood frozen on the porch, barefoot in the frost, watching the girl I buried 4 years ago stare at me like she'd never left. But she had. I saw her coffin lowered. I touched her frozen hand in the hospital morgue. Yet here she was, calling me Dad. No shadow. No breath in the cold air. Only the wind whispering through the trees like it was scared to be here too. "Please," she said again. "Don't let them take me." Them? I opened the gate. Slowly. As if moving too fast would make her vanish. She didn't flinch. I knelt in front of her. Close enough to see the scar above her right eyebrow, the one from the swing set when she was 8. I reached out. My hand trembled. And the moment my fingers grazed her cheek, she flinched. She was real. Warm. Solid. Terrified. "Lily," I choked. "How?" She shook her head violently. "No time. They'll come. They always come." Before I could ask who, she collapsed into me, crying so hard I felt her ribs shake. I looked down the street. Empty. But then, my porch light flickered. Once. Twice. Dead. All the power in the house cut out. And in that sudden silence, I heard something low, crawling, from the woods behind our yard. Not walking. Dragging. And Lily gripped my coat tighter. "They found me, Dad. They know I told you." I slammed the gate shut, locked it, and half-carried Lily up the porch steps. The power was still out, and the only light came from the full moon glowing like a watchful eye above us. Inside, I lit the emergency candle by instinct. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. Lily sat on the couch, knees pulled to her chest, whispering something over and over. "Don't follow the humming. Don't follow the humming." I crouched beside her. "What are you talking about? What is going on, Lily?" She looked up, her face pale and drawn. "They're not alive. But they want to be. And they follow the ones who remember." I didn't understand a word. She pointed to the fireplace. "Start a fire." "No. They hate warmth. It slows them down." I grabbed the matches and kindling with trembling hands. That's when I heard it. A low, bone-deep hum. Not a sound, really, more like something vibrating under the skin of the world. The windows began to fog from the outside. The temperature dropped sharply. My breath curled in the air. Lily bolted upright. "They're here." I rushed to the fireplace, struck the match. And the hallway floorboards behind me creaked. One. Then another. I turned slowly. And saw a tall, wet figure crouched in the hallway. His limbs were too long. Its skin looked like it had drowned. Eyes, black and sunken, locked onto me. Then it smiled. Its smile stretched too wide. Like skin had learned to copy emotion but never got the shape right. The thing stood motionless in the hallway, dripping water onto my hardwood floor. It was silent. Except for the humming, now louder, pressing behind my eardrums. I dropped the match. Missed the fireplace. It burned out on the floor. Lily screamed, "Don't look it in the eyes." But it was too late. I was already locked in. My legs wouldn't move. My breath came in shallow gasps. My vision started to blur, as if the shadows in the corners of the room were pulling me in. Then Lily tackled me from the side, breaking the eye contact. The thing shrieked. A horrible, metallic scream, like air being ripped apart by rusted machinery. I fumbled for the next match, hands numb. Lily pulled the curtains shut. "Hurry." It's stronger in the moonlight. I struck the match. It snapped. Another. Lit. Flames jumped to life in the fireplace. The creature backed away, skin steaming, mouth now wide open, but no sound came. Then it vanished, like a shadow in reverse, peeling back into nothing. I collapsed to the floor. Lily was sobbing. They follow pain, Dad. And when someone dies unfairly, they linger. That's how they found me. I stared at her. You died in a car accident. She looked up slowly. I didn't. That's what they wanted you to believe. My lungs forgot how to work. You didn't die? Lily nodded slowly. It wasn't an accident. Not really. That night I saw something I wasn't supposed to. Something Mom's side of the family was involved in. I stared at her. What are you saying? She hesitated. Then said, the women in Mom's family, they made a pact. It goes back generations. They promised safety, success, and favor, in exchange for something small every few decades. I felt cold seep into my spine. What kind of something? Lily's eyes dropped to the floor. A child. The room was silent except for the fire cracking. I was never supposed to be born, Dad. I broke the balance. So when I turned 14 they tried to fix it. They staged the accident. But I escaped, barely. I staggered back trying to make sense of it. The crash. The body they found. Wasn't me. They found someone else in the river. They thought it was me. And I let them believe it, because if they knew I was alive, they'd finish the job, I whispered. She nodded. And now that I came back to you, she said, they'll come for both of us. The fire suddenly hissed, like water had been thrown on it. From upstairs a loud thud. Then another. Like heavy feet, dragging. I turned to Lily. Who's in the house? She looked up, pale as snow. They are. I grabbed the fire poker and motioned for Lily to stay low. The thuds upstairs grew heavier. Slower. As if whatever was up there was deciding which step to take next. Then it stopped. Total silence. I crept toward the base of the stairs, every hair on my arm standing on end. Don't go up there, Lily whispered. It's not human anymore. I turned to her. Then what is it? She opened her mouth but never got to answer. Because the ceiling above us began to drip. First a little. Then streams. Black, oily water poured through the cracks, running down the walls, soaking the photos, crawling across the floor like a living thing. My wife's face in our wedding photo, gone as if it had been erased. I pulled Lily behind me and backed into the kitchen. Suddenly, the fridge slammed open. And there, folded inside like a grotesque puppet, was my mother-in-law. Mouth open. Eyes wide. Bones bent wrong. But breathing. Barely. She gasped. Don't trust her? I froze. Who? Her lips quivered. Lily. I turned back. And my daughter was already gone. Only her shadow remained in the doorway. A child's giggle echoed faintly through the hall. Then silence. I stood frozen in the kitchen, staring at the doorway where Lily had just been. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Lily? I whispered. No answer. The house felt wrong now, heavier like it was holding its breath. The fire in the living room guttered low, throwing warped shadows across the walls. And that shadow in the doorway, it hadn't moved. It was still shaped like a child. But it was too tall. My mother-in-law coughed behind me, wet and rattling. She was never meant to come back, she croaked. The pact was broken the moment you loved her too much. I turned slowly. You let them take my daughter. Tears leaked from her eyes, mixing with the black water dripping from her hair. We thought we could control it. Give one life, save the rest. When she survived, everything followed her. A soft humming began again, this time inside the walls. Then Lily's voice echoed from upstairs. Dad, why won't you help me? I clenched my fist. That voice. That exact voice. But something about it was wrong now, stretched, layered like several mouths were speaking at once. I'm not your sacrifice anymore, I shouted. The shadow in the doorway twitched, and then split, peeling away from the wall and crawling toward me on all fours. The lights exploded. Glass shattered. And in the chaos I realized the truth too late. The thing I brought inside wasn't pretending to be Lily anymore. It was wearing her. The creature lunged, its limbs jerking like a marionette strung with regret and rage. I dove aside, knocking over the lamp. The room went pitch black. The only light came from the fireplace, now burning blue. I could hear it circling me. Breathing. Lily's voice kept echoing, sweet and broken. Daddy, I came back for you. Why won't you hold me? I gritted my teeth and reached into my pocket, pulling out the old silver locket I had found beneath the floorboards last week. It had her initials, the real Lily's, and a note inside. If she ever returns, this will remind you who she really was. I held it up. The creature shrieked. The walls buckled, the fire roared, and suddenly I was back in the living room. Empty. Silent. The black water gone. The walls clean. The air still. And a voice, faint like it came from a dream, whispered, "Thank you, Dad. I love you." I fell to my knees, the locket clutched in my fist, tears breaking loose. For the first time in years I wasn't afraid. I buried the locket under the cherry tree in our yard the next morning. And every now and then, when the wind is just right, I hear her laugh. Not the twisted echo from the shadows, but my real Lily. And I know she's safe. From them. Forever. Forever.